Hello, I'm Esther Githu. Welcome to Africa 54. Here's what's coming up. Hundreds of pages explode almost simultaneously across Lebanon and in parts of Syria, killing at least 12 people. A lack of access to quality healthcare services is forcing Nigeria to take steps to reduce high mortality rates caused by diseases such as malaria and eclampsia. And technology leaders, academics, policymakers, and entrepreneurs from across Africa and beyond discuss the opportunities and challenges raised by artificial intelligence. All this and much more coming up on today's Africa 54. We begin our broadcast in the Middle East, where, according to media reports, including Lebanese state media, at least 3 people have been killed as multiple communications devices used by Lebanon's armed group Hezbollah detonated Wednesday afternoon across the country's south and in the southern suburbs of Beirut. On Tuesday, hundreds of pages exploded almost simultaneously across Lebanon and in parts of Syria Tuesday, killing at least 12 people. A Taiwanese company says it authorized its brand name to be put on the pages, but that a Budapest-based company manufactured them. Hezbollah and the Lebanese government are blaming Israel for the exploding pages used by Hezbollah members, which also wounded about 2,800 others. Suspicion focused on small amounts of explosives being added to the pages before they were delivered to Hezbollah. The chairman of Taiwan's Gold Apollo company says the pages were manufactured by BAC Consulting KFT, which was authorized to use Gold Apollo's trademark in some regions.
This company has cooperated with us and represents many of our products for about 3 years. They also wanted to make pages and asked me if they could use our company's brand name. Each pager paid us for the brand name fee, and they designed it themselves.
Hezbollah has relied on pages after its leader ordered members to stop using cell phones amid concerns that Israeli intelligence could intercept and track their communications. Iranian state media reported the country's ambassador to Lebanon was among those wounded by an exploding pager. Israel has not commented on the incident. For more perspective, I'm joined live from Beirut, Lebanon, by Patricia Huda, a Lebanese journalist and analyst. Patricia, what's the latest and how are Lebanese reacting to this news?
I think that all Lebanese are in state of shock now because we thought it ended yesterday. Now there is an information that it is out now that the Minister of Telecommunication said that all the devices did not pass by the ministry. So the devices passed directly from the company to Hezbollah. Today I was in the southern suburb of Beirut, so this is the threshold of Hezbollah, and people were under shock. Usually it's a place where you have so many people. It is as it's so crowded usually. Everything was open, but there was nobody in the streets. And people were talking about a butchery about yesterday. I came back home 1 hour before the explosion of the walkie-talkies. But yes, today they were in a state of shock inside the southern suburb, inside the whole Lebanon, because yesterday it's all the country, in all the country that the devices exploded. And this is what happened as well today. And it seems that for the walkie-talkies and for the pagers, they bought it from the same company. It's the same shipment. This is what the news in Lebanon is saying. So people were talking about a butchery. It seems that yesterday in southern suburb of Beirut, the ambulances could not pass because it was the people, the passers-by and people on motorbikes and people who were walking, they started exploding all in the same time. I spoke to a guy who has a shop, and he told me, I thought that a guy was having a heart attack and he was on my window, and I thought he was falling on my window because of a heart attack. And then I started hearing bombing in the streets and everybody was on the ground. So the ambulances couldn't pass by and collect the wounded because they would go, it wasn't convenient. So the thing is, they took the wounded on motorbikes. The wounded are either in their eyes, or the hands or somewhere near their belly, because what happened is that So one thing, what happened is that the pager rang as if they were receiving a message. So they took it in order to see what the message was, and this is at this time that it exploded.
Patricia, is there any reaction from the Taiwanese company that authorized its brand name to be used on these pagers?
There is the reaction that they said that they authorize it, and they gave it that they said that they didn't know anything about it, and that the Hungarian, there is a company in Hungary who can use the name, and this is where the devices were manufactured. This is what the Taiwanese company said. And today I already told you that now, 5 minutes ago, the Minister of Communication said it didn't pass by the ministry, because if it passed by the ministry, or if it passed by any place in Lebanon, whether it's the port or the airport, by Lebanese government, they would have known that these devices had explosives in it. But it passed directly to Hezbollah, from the company to Hezbollah. So it was a trusted company.
Right.
So it was a Hezbollah trusted company in Budapest. Probably.
Patricia will definitely follow up and see where things go from here. Thank you so much for your reporting. Patricia Huda is a Lebanese journalist and analyst. For continuous coverage of the story, log on to voanews.com. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has returned to campaigning for the first time since a second apparent assassination attempt on his life. Meantime, investigators are working to find out more about the suspect in custody. During a town hall event in the Midwestern city of Flint, Michigan, Trump praised the Secret Service agents who confronted a suspected gunman outside his golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he was playing golf. He also said the Secret Service would be boosting his security detail. The suspect, Ryan Wesley Routh, has been charged with possession of a firearm as a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Officials say data from Routh's cell phone shows he hid in bushes 12 hours at the course. The FBI and its law enforcement partners are focusing on obtaining search warrants for a GoPro camera and other electronic devices Routh is alleged to have left at the scene, as well as for his escape vehicle and for electronic devices left at his previous addresses in North Carolina and Hawaii. The Biden and Trump administrations have both accused China of unfair trade practices and flooding international markets with artificially cheap goods. Analysts say both the White House and Trump, if he wins the presidency again, are threatening to use tariffs to counter China and encourage U.S. manufacturing jobs. VOA's Elizabeth Lee explains.
This $6 made-in-China bike bell could cost $9.60 if additional tariffs proposed by Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump becomes reality, meaning Chinese-made products will be hit with as much as a 60% tariff under Trump's plan. He also says he will implement blanket tariffs of up to 20% on all other countries. Both Trump and the Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris say they want to bring jobs back to the U.S. The Biden administration kept most of the import taxes put in place during Trump's presidency. In May, Biden announced further tariff increases on $18 billion worth of Chinese imports, including a 100% import tax on Chinese electric vehicles. The Biden administration says its tariffs are more strategic, aimed at specific industries, and that Trump's import tax takes on a broader approach that will cost a middle-class American household $4,000 more a year. Other estimates are in the range of around $2,000. Trump says consumers won't be impacted. But Chinese businesses are not the ones paying the import taxes, explains supply chain expert Christopher Tang.
During the election years, everyone is promising the moon. But the truth of the matter is that the import tariffs are paid by the U.S. firms.
So for an imported Chinese-made TV purchased at Costco, it's Costco that pays the import tax.
When companies is facing high import tariffs, they have two buttons to push. One is pass the high import costs to the consumers. The other one is squeeze the Chinese factories to lower the price.
Tang says the risk of pushing Chinese companies to lower the price is poor product quality. Import taxes may mean fewer Made in China labels printed, but that doesn't mean that there are fewer imports coming from China. They'll just have a label from a different country, says Tang.
China actually ship a lot of components and parts to Vietnam, to India for final assembly. And those end products actually is still importing into the US as well. So therefore, the total effect on China, they still actually export more, but they're not exporting to US directly.
The World Trade Organization finds tariffs disproportionately affect low-income households, which means a $9.60 bike bell may be out of reach for some consumers if a 60% import tax is slapped on to Chinese-made products. Elizabeth Lee, VOA News, Washington.
U.S. President Joe Biden is calling on Sudan's warring parties to re-engage in negotiations to end a war that has been ongoing for more than 17 months. More than 12,000 people have been killed across Sudan since the war started in April 2023. The conflict erupted when competition between Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, which had previously shared power after staging a coup, flared into open warfare. President Biden says the RSF's assault is disproportionately harming Sudanese civilians and called on the armed forces to stop indiscriminate bombings that are destroying civilian lives and infrastructure. Djibouti's top envoy to the U.S. says his country is offering a pathway toward resolving the tensions between Somalia and Ethiopia. Ambassador Mohamed Siad Douale says the administration in Djibouti offered to grant Ethiopia access to the sea. It comes after Ethiopia signed an agreement with Somalia's breakaway region, Somaliland, that grants Addis Ababa access to the Red Sea. The move angered Mogadishu, which accused Ethiopia of violating its sovereignty, which effectively led to tensions between the two countries. Ambassador Douale tells VOA's Peter Clottey that the administration in Djibouti is hopeful the offer will help ease the tensions between Mogadishu and Addis Ababa.
So the proposal that we have would take care of Ethiopia's key interest, competitive access, and would help resolve the tension and the controversy that the MOU has sparked. This is our hope. We have an excellent trading partnership with Ethiopia. We have a port utilization agreement that was signed in 2002. The terms and modalities are very, very clear. We have an institutional planning framework. We have a joint expert committee. So the dialogue is constructive, always constructive. We look at how to solve problems. It's solutions oriented and it's competitive. So that's what the offer that we have. The offer that we have will build on that excellent trading partnership that we have and will helpfully resolve the tensions, because we need to promote helpful regional conduct. Somalia has suffered for so long, and we want to substitute the cycle of violence to a cycle of virtuous cycle of security gains and common prosperity in the region. And I think that's achievable through dialogue, diplomacy, and the promotion of mutual understanding. Political will and mutual benefit are the main drivers, I think, in that endeavor, and that's what Djibouti is trying to do.
But do you think the proposal is enough by itself to achieve the objective of reducing tensions between Mogadishu and Addis Ababa?
The terms and modalities, of course, will have to be discussed, negotiated, but we believe it would take care of Ethiopia's key interest.
That was Djibouti Ambassador Mohamed Siad Douale speaking to VOA's Peter Clottey. Nigeria's maternal and infant mortality rates have been declining steadily for decades, but the country still accounts for the second highest number of infant and maternal deaths worldwide after India, according to the World Health Organization. The high mortality is often caused by diseases such as malaria, eclampsia, and lack of access to quality health care services. But a U.S.-sponsored health initiative is trying to change the negative trend by improving service delivery at local healthcare centers. Timothy Obiezu reports from Abuja.
Salamat Ali gave birth to 5 children but is left with 1 sick one. The other 4 died either during labor or shortly after they were born. She says she couldn't bear any more losses.
I have suffered a lot when it comes to childbirth, and I'm appealing to the government if they can help me and examine what's the cause of the problem or what's wrong with me. This one that is still alive was born through cesarean section.
Ali believes her problem is spiritual and has been praying to God for help. But Nigeria accounts for some of the world's highest records of infant and maternal deaths. UNICEF estimates some 260,000 Nigerian babies die at birth, the world's second highest total, despite overall infant mortality rate improving steadily for 3 decades. Malaria, pneumonia, diarrhea, pregnancy-induced hypertension are among the leading causes of infant and maternal deaths. But poverty and high out-of-pocket spending on health and lack of access to quality care exacerbate this challenge. To help, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is training workers in more than 1,400 healthcare centers in Nigeria on infant and maternal care as well as on incident management. The integrated health program was launched in 5 states in 2019.
In terms of manpower development, the retraining of our skilled health personnel, they have assisted us in retraining. They have also helped us with some equipment which are used in immunization, and then there are equipment that are used in the labor room. This has scaled up our activities. If you look at our data, you will discover that there's an increase in the number of clients flow within the community.
USAID said the initiative targets about 5.6 million people and provides centers with the health supplies they need.
The project responded to one of the gaps, which is out-of-pocket payment, right? So they worked with the state health insurance agencies for the 5 states we are working on to develop their state health insurance scheme, build their capacity, and also facilitate the enrollment of the beneficiaries, especially the informal sector enrollment, where you have the vulnerable group.
New mothers like Deborah Danjuma are glad to benefit.
They are trying, it's very, very good. And the way they attend to people, they make people understand what to do with babies.
Millions more like Ali will be hoping to benefit from the life-saving intervention. Timothy Obiezu, VOA News, Abuja, Nigeria.
We're excited to hear what you think about Africa 54 and all our VOA Africa programs on our website at voaafrica.com. Still to come, technology leaders meet in Lagos to discuss the opportunities and challenges raised by the development of artificial intelligence. We'll be right back.
This week on Straight Talk Africa, do smart cities appear to be the new trend on the continent? They are promising to instigate growth and fuel innovation, but will they also create better living conditions for the rising middle class? Join me, Vincent Makori, for an in-depth discussion on the smart cities of Africa.
Supreme Court's historic decision to limit abortion rights, there has been a wave of abortion-related policy shifts around the world, including in Africa. On this week's episode of Our Voices, we will look at the different perceptions and beliefs relating to sexual and reproductive health and the ongoing pro-choice and pro-life debates on the continent. Join the conversation each week right here on Our Voices.
In other news, Zimbabwe and Namibia are planning to slaughter hundreds of wild elephants and other animals to feed hunger-stricken residents amid severe drought conditions in both southern African countries. Zimbabwe says it will allow the killing of 200 elephants so that their meat can be distributed among needy communities, while Namibia says it will kill more than 700 wild elephants. Nigeria's Hydrological Services Agency warns of potential flooding in 11 states after neighboring Cameroon said it was releasing water from one of its largest dams following recent heavy rainfall in West and Central Africa. The warning comes as Nigeria is already grappling with severe floods in northeastern Borno State, where a dam burst its walls after heavy rains. And music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is behind bars on Wednesday after pleading not guilty to federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges in a New York courtroom Tuesday. The indictment says he, quote, engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. A U.S. magistrate judge refused to grant Combs bail, ordered him to be jailed pending trial. Technology leaders, academics, policymakers and entrepreneurs from across Africa and beyond recently gathered in Lagos to discuss the opportunities and challenges raised by artificial intelligence development and use. Here with more is Africa 54 technology correspondent Paul Ndiho. Hello, Paul.
Thanks, Esther. The 2024 Pan-African Artificial Intelligence Conference in Lagos is a significant step in AI advancement and is a collaborative effort between Africa and the United States. During the conference, Nigeria's Minister for Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Busian Tijan, emphasized the importance of exclusive, equitable and human-focused digital transformation. I spoke to Adediyon Adedeje, a Lagos-based tech and analyst and entrepreneur, for more perspective.
Artificial intelligence is here to stay, and of course we all have reservations and everybody have certain things they think about artificial intelligence. We are increasingly having more and more people embracing it, not on a wider scale, but I think generally people are coming around to the fact that artificial intelligence is here to stay. So what we have right now is the basic use for now, which is generative AI. So we have that for content. We are seeing more and more people that are adopting this. More and more people are using content development to generate ideas. And then we are also seeing businesses that are beginning to see ways to leverage it. And I think in the creative aspect also, we are seeing a little bit of this. And I think what makes it a bit closer to people now is that's a decision by Facebook to integrate AI into WhatsApp, which I think has helped a lot because it brings, it's brought AI closer to people compared to like ChatGPT, where you have to probably sign up and you have to take some extra steps to be able to do it, or most of the AI platforms. But then integrating the Facebook AI into WhatsApp, I think has actually helped to increase awareness for the use of artificial intelligence.
You bring up a very good point there, especially when it comes to Meta AI. I think they have done exactly what they did with Facebook, opening it up to the public and let the public try it out and test it and see what the results are. Like you correctly said, are beginning to use it without even knowing that they are using it, because it's embedded in Facebook, it's embedded in WhatsApp.
For the larger audience here, mobile is king. For other AI platforms like ChatGPT, like a whole lot of the other ones, most times, other companies have to build mobile platforms to allow people to access them. Do you understand? And even with Microsoft being, integrating ChatGPT into most of their systems, it's not still that straightforward for people to access it. Do you understand? It takes some extra steps. But with the Meta AI embedded into WhatsApp, it's just a straightforward thing, especially for businesses in terms of content generation. Businesses are doing more of this. But I think an area that we've not, I think maybe hopefully in the next few years we will probably see is the angle of government and service delivery. I'm not sure we've seen much of that from the side of the government.
You said that when it comes to people embracing it, people are still, skeptical about embracing AI. But the Nigerian government has come out and said, you know what, maybe our approach to this needs to change. And recently, they even held a Pan-African conference on AI. They are trying to highlight some of the things that AI can do. Do you think the government is on the right path? Because previously, we've seen them fight, for example, like cryptocurrencies, but with this, they're taking a totally different approach. Your thoughts?
For government and AI, I think it's a step in the right direction. I know it's mixed feeling. The adoption of technology within governments is still very limited, and that's the honest truth. In Nigeria, we still have a very limited adoption of technology, especially for service delivery. We still have that, it's still lacking. A lot of the times, we are making progress, but I think it's not as fast as a lot of people would have wanted. So service delivery from the angle of government to citizen, technology is still lacking. And in most government functions, in most government activities, we still don't see enough use of technology. So most times you still have to physically go to places, things you can largely do online. You still have to go to places to do, physically go into government establishments to get things done. So for a lot of younger people, these are things that you can naturally just do online and get it done with. So, but of course, we are seeing more and more agencies adopting technology, which is good. I think for a lot of citizens, it's let's see how we can improve service delivery with technology first before we start investing in AI. So to a lot of citizens, it's like you're jumping the gun, meaning that you are moving forward to AI while nobody's talking about improving service delivery using technology.
Adedoyin Adedeje is a Lagos-based tech entrepreneur and analyst. That's today's report. Back to you, Esther.
Thanks, Paul. Be sure to join Paul Ndiho each Wednesday for another informative tech segment right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, thanks for watching.